Hello everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. Rabbi Abe here. In this video, I am going to reveal a deep secret that I learned from my teacher about how to use your birthday to get younger. And I'm not joking. Getting younger energetically, and that has a physical effect on our body. Stay tuned till the end, and I will give you this secret. It's a secret of consciousness, and this has to do with the secret of time. So let's go into it. First off, let me tell you what not to do, what a common mistake that people make concerning the aging process. So, I talk to a lot of people, okay, in my line of work. And very often, maybe when it comes to doing an astrology chart, I'll ask a person, okay, so how old are you? Not, what year were you born in? I need to know, right? Like, what's the month, right? If you want a chart done, then I need to know what month and year you're born in and so on, right? So we all understand that. But very often a person is, reluctant to give me the year. Why? It's like, I'm not trying to be rude. And why is it an issue? I mean, I know someone in particular who will never say their age. Never say their age. And you know what? And they're not as old as you might think, but they look a lot older than than they actually are. Now, I'm not saying that there's a direct effect, but perhaps there is. I can tell you, if you look around, people who are truly spiritual tend to look younger for some reason, okay? But there is a deep Kabbalistic understanding to how time affects us, because age is connected to time. And time, our time, begins when? When you're born, okay? On your birthday. Your birthday is the day you were born. Now, contrary to the popular belief, okay, I know we've all been trained somehow to think that, on our birthday, we're supposed to receive all kinds of gifts, right? No, actually not. And I'm going to give you a spiritual reason, okay? Let's leave this till the end as well. The spiritual reason why, especially on your birthday, not only you shouldn't be the one getting the gifts. I mean, it's okay if you do, but you should look how to give to other people. So let's understand why. Let's talk about your birthday. What is it energetically and spiritually? What does it represent? Well, energetically, we know the beginning of anything has a name in the Kabbalah, Kabbalistic teachings. It's called Keter. Keter. Now, Keter means crown. Keter means many, many things. I won't go into the deeper details now, only what's necessary for this conversation. Keter is like the seed or the beginning. It's the stage that we will call zero. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say, and again, just for example purpose, let's say you have an idea. I got an idea, okay? Now, this second, you got an idea. This second, you're aware of that idea. Now, if we go back 1 second before you got the idea, or before you had awareness of that idea, where was that idea? Did it exist? Somewhere? Probably it's not something we think about, but there's kind of a space between I have the idea and I don't have the idea. And is a space in between. It's almost like saying, and I hope this is clear, right? If you put the pen down on a paper to write a letter, the first letter of whatever you're going to write, but there's a space between the blank paper and where the ink starts, there's some level in between. Keter is in between. It's everything, it's nothing. In fact, the Kabbalists give a parable to help us understand the principle, the spiritual principle of Keter. And this is important if we are to truly understand how to get younger every year. How to get younger every year, or at least how to maintain youth, or not to get older too quickly. How do we understand Keter? Keter is represented by the crown, and symbolically, who wears a crown? Well, the king. King wears a crown. Okay. Now, let's say the king is not wearing his crown today, and he travels to another city where people do not know that he's a king. So here's the question. Is he a king, or is he not a king? Well, he is. I mean, he's still a king. Nobody knows he's a king, but he is. In a way he is, and in a way he isn't. You know, that old saying, if the tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, it does, and it doesn't. If there's nobody to hear it, does it make a sound? Okay, so this is the idea of Keter. If I flip a coin, and now it's under my hand, and it's either heads or tails, and it's known, but if I ask you, what is it? We don't know. But it is already. It's been decided, but it's still in the level of unknown. So all these little examples that I'm giving you is just to illustrate what is Keter about. Keter is, it's everything, and it's nothing at the same time. Now, that's what we'll call the seed level. Even a seed is still physical, but it's the closest thing, let's say, in the physical world to Keter. So imagine for a moment when we are born, the moment we are born, the moment before and the moment after, that is our Keter. Excuse me. Our Keter, our crown, our seed level. In other words, nothing is manifest yet. Everything is there. It's all there. It's all inclusive, and all potential is available. Now, we should understand one principle. The principle is called the cyclic principle. Cyclic principle. There are cycles for everything. In the physical world, we operate in a state of cycles. So there's a weekly cycle, monthly cycle, and a yearly cycle. Now, the most powerful cycle of all cycles is the yearly cycle. Why? Because even though every 30 days we have a new moon, let's say, and every week, every 7 days, we repeat the days of the week, but we're not exactly repeating them because they are different. They're different days, but every year we repeat the same days and we repeat the same months. I don't mean to say that they're exactly the same, but we do repeat January and February and so on, right? We repeat the same months. We repeat the same situation, but they're not the same. But the cycle is the same. Now, why is that important? The yearly cycle is important because every year the same energy repeats. And again, that's true to a degree for every week and every month, but the strongest is yearly. So on the yearly cycle of something, we have a celebration, let's say, all right? Holidays, events. Everyone knows, right? We celebrate every year. We celebrate the same thing. Question is it really the same thing? What's the same about it? Well, it's the same day? No, it's not the same day. It's a year later. So why do you say it's the same? It's not the same. Or is it the same? What makes it different? It's interesting. Medical science says that every 7 years, all of the cells in our body are new. Okay, they renew. Our body renews. All the cells renew every 7 year. 7-year cycle. If that's true, then why is it that, God forbid, let's take a negative example. A person can be sick for 10 years, for 20 years. They can be dealing with an illness. If every cell in the body is new, then how is it that all these cells are reproducing not in the right way, in a corrupt way, in a mutated way, in a illness way? If all the cells are new, how come a person isn't healthy? Yeah, okay, you can be sick, with whatever illness for a certain amount of time, but 7 years goes by, you should be now perfectly healthy, right? No, not necessarily. Why is that? Because our cells reproduce as a function of our consciousness. If our consciousness stays the same, the cells will reproduce the same. In other words, our consciousness clearly affects the cells of our body. And this is for another class on healing, which will be coming up reasonably shortly. But we know for sure that our mental state certainly affects our immune system, and this is known, I think, by everybody, that if you're depressed, your immune system goes, kaput. It goes, terrible. It affects our immune system terribly. If you're depressed, if you're down, if you're sad, again, your immune system deteriorates rapidly. And that's why you have to be careful. Also, when you're angry, be very careful from getting angry, from getting into a depression, because it immediately affects your immune system and leaves you open. Okay? Leaves you open. I don't want to say for what, but for problems. Physical and mental, spiritual. So, the point here is our consciousness affects us, clearly affects our body, certainly. And happiness and joy and positive emotions have the opposite effect. We know that as well. Strengthens our immune system, makes us more impervious to any form of disease or issues or problems. Also mental issues, but certainly physical issues. So our consciousness has an effect on our body. This we must all agree to. Consciousness affects our physical state. Now, how does this relate to our birthday? Well, here goes. Now, again, please prepare for this, because this has to do with the secret of time, and our birthday means however many years. Years, okay? Years. So I'm 20 years old, and my birthday was 20 years ago. I'm 50 years old and 50 years. Now, let's go away from the years for a second. Does every hour seem the same to every person? In other words, what's an hour? Or what's a day? Is every day the same for every person? What is a day? Today's Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday. Is a day, it's 24 hours? Okay, so how does an hour go by? for any given person. Is it the same for everybody? Probably not. And we all know this. For some people, let's say you're very bored. An hour can seem like a day, okay? When you're really bored, an hour will go by very slowly. But if you're having fun, the same hour on the watch goes by very quickly. So what is time? Time is time, again, what's on your watch? Oh, it's an hour already. Well, no, clearly no. Time is a perception of consciousness that is determined by how much energy, how much light is within that framework. Again, this is a secret and it's deep. Please try to understand it, because if you understand this, you will understand the secret of staying young, maybe turning back the clock to whatever degree. Again, time is a perception of our consciousness. Time is a perception of how much light, how much energy is within that hour, if we're going to use an hour as an example. When that hour lacks energy, lacks light, it will feel like very long. The same hour will be very long. Now, again, so if you're out on a, very, date with someone who you really want to be with and you're having an amazing time, it's an hour, whoosh, flies by. It's not enough time. You don't want to go. You don't want it to end. You don't want it to end, right? And that's when the time flies by. But you're there. You're there with it. But imagine you're with someone who you can't stand and you hate, or someone who's, judging you or whatever it is, and you cannot wait for this to end. I mean, that's happened, I'm sure, to everybody. That maybe once at least. You didn't want to be rude, and you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait for the thing to be over. Why? Because that hour or that time was lacking energy, lacking light. What is light? Light is the feeling of fulfillment. Light is what I perceive to be positive energy in that situation. So God forbid a person is in pain, let's say. Pain is a lack of comfort. Pain is a lack of comfort and well-being. It's lacking. It's lacking the positive energy of good. Time will go by slowly. Okay, if we understand this secret, that time is a perception of consciousness, how does that apply to our birthday? How does that apply to how we perceive the amount of years that we've been on planet Earth and how it will affect us? Now again, when you hear this, please be aware. If you've had, the wrong consciousness about this, you can fix it and you can change it, okay? So don't be worried. Don't be worried. If you're involved with vanity, and vanity is ego, and you say, I don't want you to know how old I am. Or I don't say, I'm 29. Forever 29. Now, obviously, you're not 29. But what are you really saying? You're really saying, I don't want to get older. I dread the thought of aging. Now, the secret here is when we have that kind of a consciousness, we are injecting lack, and time into our aging process. Again, we are injecting time and lack, because time is space. Time is lengthening. We're injecting that energy into our aging process. That's not a good thing. That's not desirable. Why? Because we are making whatever time if you're 50 years old, we're making that 50 years old perhaps like 70. We may be making that 70 years old like 100 years old in energy value, in lack. Because lack is when there's no filling. It's missing. That space is missing energy. Because when there's energy present, there's no time. Didn't we say that? And I hope this is clear. It's deep. When there's energy, when that space of time that you're calling age is filled with energy, in your perception, not in somebody else, in your perception, it's filled with energy, that means your 50 years old can be like 20, can be 15. Because how that space or lack of space is determined is by your and my consciousness, by how we perceive our age. Think about it. Think about it. Think how we've changed over the years. When you were a young kid, I know when I was young, right? When I was younger. Okay, let's put it that way, because I'm still young. But when I was younger, and there were certain things I couldn't do, right? When I was 7, I wanted to be 10, because then I could do things. My parents would let me do things. And then when I was 10, I wanted to be, 15. And when I was 15, I was looking forward to, I can drive. When I'm 17, I can already start to learn to drive. I couldn't wait to drive. I love driving. I couldn't wait to drive. And then when I was 20, I was thinking, man, I can drink now or whatever it is. And think about it. When you were younger, you were looking forward to this aging process. And time wasn't moving as quickly. Think about it. It's true. And at some point, what happened? Instead of going forward, you weren't as excited, maybe around 28, 30, and then you began to think, wait a minute, I want to go backward. I don't want to go forward. And that's when we mess up. We mess up the system. Why? Because when you want to move forward, your body, the physical energy, is full of energy. You're full of energy because your desire to move forward, because you're excited about the next process. You're excited about the next process, especially if you're involved with spiritual things and growth, which has endless potential. Yeah, it's true. Physical goals, physical aspirations are limited, but spiritual goals have no limitation. And you can grow endlessly. So when you're excited about the next level of growth and the next thing you're going to do and the next opportunity and what you can do, that endless. Not only will you stay young, you'll stay healthier, you'll stay better, you'll have more consciousness, more insight, because you're filling the gap, the space called age with energy, with light, with positivity. But when you fear moving forward, when you're saying in your consciousness, no, I'm getting older. I'm afraid to get older. I don't like where this movie is going. I'm getting older. And what's more, we make excuses for ourselves. We go up the steps, we're out of breath. When you begin to get older, you know what most people say? Geez, I must be getting old. No, stupid, you're not getting old. You're just not working out the way you used to. You're not as active as you used to be. If you'll do your exercise, you won't be out of breath. Be careful with your consciousness when it comes to your age. And this is where the birthday comes in, because our birthday is the opportunity that we get every year, not only not to age, but to go backwards. To go back to the seed level. Why? Because remember, Keter, which is your birthday, is 0. It's the 0 point. Everything's possible. So when your birthday comes, when it comes, make every effort in your consciousness. Meditate, not only to go back to 0, to go back to all the original energy that you had as an almost born, to tap into all of your stem cells, to rejuvenate your entire body, all the cells of your body with the original energy of brand new, perfected state. The more you're in that place on your birthday, and you're excited for the new year of growth coming, you're excited for the next year, I guarantee you, not only you're going to feel way better, and if you couple with that, share with people. That's why it's good to share on your birthday. I know we all want to, receive the gifts. That's okay, no problem. But we should activate a sharing force, because that also connects us with positive energy, with the light. The light is a sharing force. We create affinity. Do charity on your birthday. Do actions of sharing, actions of kindness on your birthday. Buy the cake, surprise everyone, and buy your own cake. Go out of the box, because your birthday is the opportunity to go back to the original seed of your birth and make up for all the years, perhaps, that you were thinking you don't want to get older. No, be excited about it. Think like the 8-year-old. Think like the 10-year-old who can't wait for the next year to come. Because now I can do this, and now I can do that, now I can grow more, and now I have another opportunity. Because that's how it is. It's all about our consciousness and where our head is at. Be blessed. Share this with people, because this will also help others. The more we share this, the younger we will feel and the younger we will get in terms of the energy in our life and our source, our strength for the passion, the energy that we all need to rejuvenate all the cells in our body and become better. All the best. Have a great day.